gonna be bottling tomatoes today. Yay! I've got 4 bowls this size. I've got to take care of all of these, and so we're gonna have, our jars are already hot and ready and sanitized. I have actually 2 sizes, a small pint wide mouth and the large. Just use what you have or what works for your family. You're gonna need the tongs that lift up the jar out of the hot water. You're gonna want the funnel to stick inside the jar when you get your tomatoes ready. Depending on if you use the large quart size, you'll use a teaspoon. If you use the pint, you'll use a half a teaspoon of salt. And you're gonna want your magnetic wand for these lids and rings. When they're hot and ready and sanitized, you pick them up with your magnetic wand. So those are things you need to start prepping while the tomatoes are getting cooked and boiled. I just threw some tomatoes in the pot. You're gonna wanna cook them to where when it peels and cracks, you can take it over and immediately put it in cold ice water, sit for a minute or 2, and then everything, the peeling, the stem, everything comes out, and all the goods on the inside of the tomato go straight into the funnel of the jar. My tomatoes are hot, steamy, boiling, and all the peelings are cracked. I'm gonna go ahead and dump the hot water carefully as to not burn myself or give myself a tomato facial. Oh, it's hot. Got it in a colander. I'm gonna dump this into the ice water. It's pretty mushy. I'm gonna let that sit for a couple minutes. Okay, the tomatoes have been sitting in the cold ice water for a few minutes. The next step is, for the quart size, you add 1 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is not Gatorade. This is hand squeezed lemons from our tree. You literally pick up the mushed up tomatoes. You can see the peels are coming off. I just take my knife and I just go right in there and I kind of just saw in and cut the stem off and make sure the peeling comes off. I don't mind if my tomatoes are whole. You're welcome to also chop them in half as they go into the jar. You can do anything with these tomatoes. You can add them to stews, to chilies. You can blend them up and make your own spaghetti sauce. On a different tutorial, I'll be making a video of how to dry your own herbs. So in this bag, you will see a secret of our next tutorial to look for drying herbs out of your garden. We have cilantro, parsley, oregano, what else do we have? Rosemary. So any of those things you can preserve and dry, and they make fantastic seasoning. So we're just gonna keep going and adding it until the jar is about 1/2 inch from the head space, and then you're gonna need to wipe the rim clean, making sure you have no residue so you get a clean seal once you get the tomatoes all the way to the top. And this is the messy part. While this is happening, I have already filled up that giant pot full of the second batch of tomatoes. So the water is heating up with the tomatoes in there, getting ready to boil the next batch. So by the time I'm finished with this, you can get all of your jars ready. At the same time, you can process the canning. If you have a place or a camp stove or a grill that has an extra burner on it, you can do this outside where you don't have to heat up your house. This one's pretty full. I'm gonna leave that. I'm happy with that, and I'm actually gonna switch over to another jar. It doesn't matter if you add the salt or the lemon before or after